Hello everyone, Merry Christmas. It's me, Patrick, joined by my sister, Mary.
Hi.
And we're doing what is now, I guess, an annual tradition, the post-Christmas Q&A. So you guys sent in a lot of questions, like hundreds of questions, and Mary has gone through and compiled them and is gonna moderate this and is gonna ask me the questions, and some of them are for you.
Yeah, there's a couple for me, yeah.
Yeah, and we're just hanging out by the Christmas tree. We're gonna answer as many of these questions as we can, and I'm gonna do it kind of like as a lightning round thing because there's a lot to get through, and I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. So, short answers.
Okay.
And I think we should get going.
The Acid Sausage asks, are there any movies that everybody in the world seems to love except for you? My picks would be Old Boy, The Godfather, and Home Alone.
Those are all great movies.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, there probably are, but the first thing that comes to mind is I don't get what people see in the movie Empire Records.
Oh, yeah, you've talked about that before.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think it's bad.
Gabo Review asks, which movies inspired you while filmmaking?
Basically everything I see, I digest in some way and become some sort of inspiration, and I steal things from everything. I mean, going way back to middle school, kind of around there. I mean, The Matrix is the movie that made me want to make movies.
Yeah. Eric Schwenke, hope I'm saying that right, asks, how do you feel about collaborating with other YouTube creators? I'd really like to see you do something big with Lindsay Ellis and Folding Ideas.
I think they're both great. I'm a fan of both those channels. I've never collaborated with anybody. I'm open to the idea, and I don't know what it would be, but it could be fun. So no plans, but yeah, open to it.
Voila asks, books about filmmaking, filmmakers that can give an insight about the industry or the filmmaking process that you'd recommend?
Yeah, there's Sidney Lumet's book. I think it's like, is it like On Directing Film, something like that. Just Sidney Lumet's book on directing movies. There's Alexander McKendrick's book on making, I think it's called On Making Movies. Those are ones that I would recommend, and I know there are a lot more that I just haven't read, but check those out.
Okay, good. All right, Jansen Mitchell, what advice would you give to other 5 to 7 minute short filmmakers?
Make a lot of them. Just make a lot, because if you're starting out doing it, they won't be good. They won't be good for a while, and then they'll just get better. So just keep doing them, and don't be discouraged if they're not good at first.
Nino Nicolis says, what are your thoughts on surrealistic cinema, and especially the works of David Lynch?
It took me a while to like David Lynch. I do like him now. There's more of that stuff that I should see. So, pro.
Milo Kavanagh asks, independent or blockbuster?
Both.
Scott Patton Levin says, ooh, I don't know if you can do this. He asks if you can rank the movies of Edgar Wright. That might be...
It's too hard.
David Fernando Gordillo Campuzano says, as a comic book fan, what are your thoughts on superhero fatigue?
For me, it's not a thing because I read superhero comics weekly, and I have for like 20 years, so I don't mind 3 superhero movies a year. And it might become a thing with more people, but I feel like Marvel's evolving, their genres and their styles enough that to keep up with changing tastes. And look, the thing is, like, if there weren't those superhero movies, there would just be other blockbusters in their places that would probably be worse. So whatever, I'm not feeling it.
Cool. All right, Rise the Horizon says, did you have a nickname at school?
No.
No. Fan of films. Is there any video idea that you wanted to do, but for some reason you didn't get to make?
Well, 2 years ago, I was going to direct a video for Vanity Fair with a $10,000 budget that was going to be really cool, and then their budgets got shifted around and the plug got pulled. So I wish we'd gotten to make that, because it was gonna be great.
Gabriel Bath says, who would you like to see do a Hellboy movie post Neil Marshall's new film?
Let's wait until Neil Marshall's film comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Okay, Soares asks, how would you bring X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And also, lots of you asked this question.
A lot of people asked this question. As Connor and I said in our video talking about what to do with the X-Men movies, I think you don't need to. I think the X-Men generally work better separate. In the comics, they're usually off doing their own thing. I think it's unnecessary and needlessly complicated to try to fit mutants and all the X-Men into the MCU, so don't bother.
Yeah, and go watch that video.
Go watch that video.
On X-Men. Dante Miguel asks, what Christmas film would you consider worthy of analysis?
I have actually been thinking for the past year of doing a video essay about Home Alone, which I'm a very big fan of. I just didn't get around to it this year, but Home Alone.
Mega Bacon, do you have a movie that you saw as a child or teen that sparked your passion for movie making?
The Matrix.
Luna M. Gill says, will we ever see Aquaman the Teen Drama Season 2? And congratulations on getting the subscribers. That's nice.
Thank you very much. Sadly, I don't think there will be an Aquaman the Teen Drama Season 2. I had a great idea for it, but I just don't think it's feasible and realistic to make it. Sorry. I'm sadder about that than you are.
We're sad. Johnny asks, what are your thoughts on directors that mainly prioritize characters and dialogue over everything else? Someone like Noah Baumbach, whose films are primarily focused on characters and their interactions over even things like story.
I would disagree with that. I like Noah Baumbach a lot, and I think that his movies do prioritize story. It's that they're very character-driven stories on a small scale. It's less that they don't have a lot of story. It's that they don't have a lot of plot.
Right.
And and anyway, I like them. I like Noah Baumbach a lot. I really need to get around to watching the Meyerowitz Chronicles because it's on Netflix. And yeah, I don't love all directors like that, but Noah Baumbach, I'm pro.
Cool.
Yeah, I made a video. What if Noah Baumbach directed Spider-Man?
Yeah.
You should watch it.
Alexander D. Watson says, why did you decide to have your wonderful family, hi Mary and the rest of the Willems, to be involved in your videos? Why did you, Patrick?
That's an easy question. So I love my family. They're my favorite people. I get along with them all very well, and I think that they're really fun, entertaining people. And so it just made sense to introduce them to the rest of the world because I think they're great, and I think everyone else will think they're great. And let's be real, they're great. Like Mary's great. You've seen my parents; they're great.
Yeah.
And that's entirely it. It's just that I think they're funny. The parents are coming back very soon.
Dark Porfo asks, what's your creative process?
Well, we made a video about that earlier this year. You should go. It's called How We Make These Videos. But it was also a joke video that should not be taken seriously. The creative process, channel fear and panic and stress into productivity.
Century Zero, if you had to recast, re-roster the X-Men film franchise.
Come on, that's way too big a question.
That's like a whole video.
That's a whole video,
Yeah.
and we cover some of that in the video we did about what to do with the X-Men movies. So just go watch that.
Yes. The Query asks, I found your video essay on realism and film very intriguing, especially your commentary on verisimilitude and Speed Racer. However, I personally think that whether or not a film maintains its verisimilitude is irrelevant if the verisimilitude simply doesn't work in a live-action movie. In my opinion, Speed Racer suffers from this problem. However, if it was an animated movie, this would be a completely different story. What are your thoughts?
I don't agree because I made a video about why I think Speed Racer works. So those are my thoughts on it.
Jack Hamilton says, Merry Christmas. How would you
Thanks.
have felt at the time if in the 90s they made a Spider-Man movie with Carnage as the villain and they got serial killer Charles Manson to play him?
Well, let's be real. Charles Manson did not himself kill people. It was his followers who did. So he's not technically...
Okay. That's a terrible idea.
I know. No, the important thing is that a Spider-Man movie with Carnage as a villain is a terrible idea anyway, regardless of whether or not Charles Manson plays him.
Yeah, also don't take criminals out of jail to put them in movies.
Yeah, exactly. Do not put convicted killers in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are our thoughts on it.
Yeah, that's our advice. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't put Carnage in a movie. He's a bad character.
Daniel Shakespeare says, have you seen the Dollars trilogy and did you like it?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, cool. The Crazy Markman says, how does it feel to balance your output of both video essays and sketches at the same time? Do you often decide which video you want to work on next, or do you work on multiple videos simultaneously? How do you find the process overall?
I work on them simultaneously. I will often work on a video essay through the day when my friends and actors are at work, and then in the evening we'll shoot the narrative stuff. So they're always happening simultaneously, and that's how. So I do my best to balance the two, usually by working on several things at once.
Cool. Asian Geeks asks 4 questions. What are the key aspects to nailing a superhero film?
The right balance of character and spectacle.
Cool. If you've seen Star Wars, which you have, what are the Star Wars films ranked?
Best to worst?
Best to worst, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go Empire, New Hope, Last Jedi, Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, Rogue One, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith.
All right. Why was Episode 3 hated? Because I thought it was one of the best.
I think it might be the worst. Because it's trying to very, very hard to be very, very serious, and doesn't really work.
Yeah. Is it possible to reboot the entire DCEU in the future, since I'm an aspiring director and I have a great story and plenty of interesting movie ideas?
It might be possible to reboot it. That's Warner Brothers' decision, but look, they're not going to ask you for your ideas until you are like not an aspiring director, but like a proven successful director. And I have ideas too. I wish they would ask me, but that's not going to happen. So I would worry about making your own stuff and not coming up with ideas for like $200 million blockbusters.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next question is from I'm Not Smitty, and they ask, what makes a Christmas movie, Patrick?
Okay. I have a lot of thoughts on this. I think making a Christmas movie, it really, it depends on how much of the movie is set around or features the Christmas holiday, and also how much Christmas is connected thematically to it. And there's the constant debate about Die Hard being a Christmas movie.
I don't think it is.
Mary doesn't think it is. But then, for instance, like White Christmas is considered a Christmas movie. In White Christmas, Christmas only comes in at the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's not really.
Yeah, but it's in the title. While in Die Hard, for instance, the whole movie takes place at Christmas, and Christmas is directly connected thematically to the film, since the movie is about reuniting a family. And so I think those are the things that really make a Christmas movie. Also, having Christmas music also helps.
Die Hard doesn't put me in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, Mary comes at it from like a gut feeling. What'd you feel in the gut?
That's right. Okay. Cameron Simpson says, have you seen Whiplash? What did you think?
I think it's a really great movie.
Yeah. Family Gone's Cartwright says, could you do a long essay about Blade Runner or Nolan's films?
I think Blade Runner and Christopher Nolan's films have been covered by so many people that there is not a whole lot of new stuff to say about them.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not going to do one.
Lewis Drummond asks, what movie do you love to hate?
Do I love to hate? The Boondock Saints. It's my least favorite movie of all time. I utterly despise it.
Zuko Taco says, this is a personal question, so I'm not asking for specific numbers, but a big concern for me and other aspiring filmmakers is making enough money to live off of. How are you able to balance making enough to eat while also running this YouTube channel? Is it a lucrative side hustle? Do you have freelance work?
Okay, the condensed version of that is my full-time job for many years living in New York was just freelance video work, which is stressful and hard to make a living off of. And in the past year, YouTube has actually become lucrative enough to become my full-time job, which has been really, really nice because it used to be I was doing YouTube in addition to the freelance work, and now it's mostly just YouTube. And it's still, stressful living in New York without like a salary, but it's working for me.
All right. Tom Hool says Elvis or the Beatles?
Beatles.
Yep. Jordan S says you've done some great work in talking about how to do action in film. Would you consider doing other series involving how to do other genres such as sci-fi, mystery, horror?
Yeah, quite possibly. I like talking about action because it's very much about. I like getting into the mechanics of the visual storytelling. That's a thing that I'm really into talking about. And but yeah, there's a decent chance I could get into like horror in particular. Is like a works similarly to action in terms of being very much about the craft like matters a lot there. Well, mystery I feel like is more about like there's more there involving like the script and like just storytelling in general.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Shams Realm says, do you think shows like Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones get hurt by high reviews? Should you go into a TV show without seeing reviews?
No, I don't think so. There's so much TV right now. We're living in peak TV, guys, as you hear all the time. And I think reviews are really useful just in terms of, deciding what you want to watch because there's so much to watch. Mm-hmm. So yeah, maybe, shows get praised a lot, and then if you decide to watch it like 5 seasons in, you're expecting it to be the greatest show of all time. So maybe start watching shows earlier on in their run so that to avoid them getting overhyped for you. But no, I think reviews and criticism are very good and really useful in terms of deciding what you want to watch.
Cool. The Movie Buff says, which filmmaker working today would you say is most similar to your style of filmmaking? I have no idea.
I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
I also am hesitant to just compare myself to someone.
You're just like Steven Spielberg.
I'm just like Steven Spielberg.
You're just as good.
I'm like the Steven Spielberg of YouTube. Exactly. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I like to pull things from a bunch of different people, and so I don't know. That's up to you guys. You tell me stylistically who you think I'm like.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
The Spitba 11 Warrior says, what are good types of videos to make when first getting into filmmaking?
Short ones that you can finish. Mm-hmm. Finishing the projects you start is the most key at the beginning, and it's a thing that a lot of people fail to do.
Dal Srinivas says, what's your fave Paul Thomas Anderson movie?
Oh man, that's tough. Off the top of my head, right now, maybe Punch Drunk Love. But there are a lot of really great ones.
Cool.
Tomorrow it could be The Early Blood. I don't know.
Liam Melenda says, if you could select one filmmaker to helm a Star Wars spin-off movie, who would you choose?
A Star Wars spin-off movie?
Yeah.
Let's give it to Bong Joon-ho.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. Noah Arrell says, what would you do if you could clone yourself?
I would be able to get a bit more work done and, most importantly, sleep more.
Spamonitor says, I have an extremely random question that I'm not even sure if you'd know the answer to, but here we go.
Let's see.
Why does alcohol taste smoother when chilled?
I have no idea.
We don't know. Rowan Compton says, are you working on any big projects?
Yup.
Cool. Kyle Bauer says, what advice would you give to those uncertain about their future, especially those who would like to pursue filmmaking professionally? Well, you made a video.
If you want to pursue filmmaking, just start doing filmmaking right now. Do it. Maybe don't quit your job immediately to do it, but spend all your free time working on it, because you have to really, really like doing it when you're not making any money if you're ever going to make a career out of it. So just do it now. Do it now all the time.
Cool. A random figure says, I really liked your video about Fantastic Four. Do you have any specific ideas or wishes for how to introduce them into the already established Marvel Comics universe?
Cinematic universe.
I always say comics. I just like comics.
That's why MCU is. Yeah. That's why people use it. Yes. Well, I mean, this isn't my idea, but I agree with what a lot of people say. I like the idea about the Fantastic Four making it so they've been stuck in the negative zone for decades, and where time passes differently, so they haven't aged. So you can have them pop up in the MCU currently and have them already have been established years earlier, but explain why no one has talked about them in a long time.
Cool. All right. Abdurrahman Aliani says, how do you stop thinking and start doing? I'm assuming that he's talking about filmmaking. Don't try and be perfect.
Yeah, you just don't worry about it and just do it right now. Just
it's not going to be great at first.
Yes, give yourself a deadline and like a time limit, time constraints, and so you've just got to do it now.
Cool. Tani Mato, in all caps, says, what is the smallest change you could make to any movie to make it better?
Remove Donald Trump's cameo from Home Alone 2.
Yeah. Varun Saxena says, which director do you think will be perfect for a Fantastic Four movie?
I mean, the obvious answer is Brad Bird, because he already directed The Incredibles, which is the best Fantastic Four movie. Yeah. So that's like the easy answer, but I'll just stick with that.
Okay. Red Shirts says, "Hey Patrick, I'm a young wannabe filmmaker and I love your channel. You're really inspiring. My question is, what equipment are you using for your upcoming short film?"
You should watch the video called Announcing Our New Project, where I go through all the equipment that I use in that video. It was from like a month or so ago.
Yeah, cool. Burr Basic says, "In your opinion, do the Oscars matter?"
I don't like the Oscars, and I don't like award season, but I do think they serve a purpose, largely in that they can bring attention to films and filmmakers, actors who otherwise might get overlooked. Like, a lot more people saw Moonlight because of the awards than would have otherwise.
Right.
I'm actually thinking of making a video about this soon, but short answer, I don't like the Oscars, but they do matter.
The Oklahoma Photo Booth Company says, "If you've seen White Collar, Prison Break, or Sherlock, who would you pick to direct the next season of one or all of these TV shows?"
The only one I've seen is Sherlock, and that show has ended, so nobody. It's over.
Okay, Nay says, "When will you make your feature?"
There's a lot of factors in that. I'm working on it.
Cool. Green Gal 22 says, "What do you do outside of YouTube?"
I sleep and I read comic books, and I try to find time to work on like the like feature-length screenplays and the longer form projects that I'm also trying to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You friends.
I also have friends.
Saul Partita says, "Where do you think the movie industry will be in 20 years? Will we still be on superheroes or onto something else? Like, what's the next big trend?"
I couldn't tell you what the next big trend is. The thing that I really, really hope is happening in the film industry in 20 years is that the big studios get out of the mindset that everything they make has to be based on an existing IP, and get back to making some like just more original movies that aren't based on things, because I miss that. And also, hopefully Disney doesn't buy up any more studios, because that troubles me.
We'll get into that later.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Epic Male Potato says, "Which film is better, Batman vs. Superman or Justice League?"
This is hard. I hate Batman v Superman. I think it is terrible and it makes me angry. Justice League is a bad movie, but I find it more watchable and more enjoyable, but also BVS is actually like it's a singular vision and it's actually about something. So I think it might be a slightly better movie even if I hate it more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Complicated.
The Lego Zorro says, "Have you heard of Bionicle?"
I have heard of Bionicle.
Yeah.
When I was in middle school, I owned one Bionicle figure.
Yeah. Taryn Slate has a couple questions for both of us.
Both of us.
What are our favorite film scores?
Oh boy, I think we both agree anything by Joe Hisaishi for Miyazaki movies. I love Ennio Morricone. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is like one of the best scores ever. I love Henry Mancini's Pink Panther score.
Ooh, yeah, that's a great score.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like the Peter Pan score by James
Newton Howard. Yeah, from the underrated 2004 Peter Pan movie.
Great.
The one I listen to the most probably is the Social Network score, which is like my go-to writing music. And actually, Spotify just told me that in 2017, the album I listened to the most was Daniel Pemberton's score for Steve Jobs, which has sort of become my new go-to writing music and is a really great, underrated score. I love the Cloud Atlas score. That's a great one.
Yeah.
And also, old Johnny Williams. He's made some good music.
Maybe.
Temple of Doom is especially a favorite.
Yeah. And then the next question is for me. How did you achieve this level of awesomeness, Mary?
Mary, how did you achieve this level of awesomeness?
It took 27 years. That's all I'll say.
Hey, and as her brother, someone who's known her entire life, Mary has a pretty high level of awesomeness.
Yeah.
It's true.
I peaked at 6, though.
She did peak at 6, but she's still awesome.
Yeah. Robin Michelson says, "Do you think color correction can ruin a big VFX shot by making it look way too fake? Look at Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. The CG in the 1993 movie looks better. What do you think?"
I think that's kind of complicated. I think Jurassic World is a bad-looking movie, which is odd because it's shot on film. And I think it's partially the color grading, and also it's like a really kind of blandly overlit movie, and I think the lighting also plays a large role. I think color grading, yes, it can ruin not just VFX shots, but shots in general. But I also don't think, for instance, like stylized, saturated color grading, because look at like Guillermo del Toro movies, like Pacific Rim, that's full of VFX with bright, colorful color grading, and I don't think that makes it look fake at all. And so I think there's a lot of factors in there. It's not as simple as saying like, oh, the color grading is why that looks fake.
Wa2288 says, which movie is considered a classic that you do not personally enjoy?
Well, a recent Oscar Best Picture winner was Birdman, which I'm not a very big fan of.
Michael Scally says, aside from Shane Black, which celebrity and or IP would you like to see have a dedicated holiday special?
Oh my God, that's a great question.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I was, because I know he just was on an episode of Sesame Street. Chance the Rapper and Muppets.
Yes!
Doing a Christmas special.
He is like a human Muppet.
And back in like
he is so cute.
Like the 70s maybe, there was a John Denver in the Muppets Christmas special, so let's have a Chance the Rapper in the Muppets Christmas special.
I really want that. I really
I think
want
I just described your dream thing now.
Okay.
I wish I could spend an hour thinking about this, but
That was
off the top of my
perfect
head,
answer.
I'm gonna go with that.
Connor Old says, I know you don't read. Well, no. Okay, one second.
I do read.
He does read.
I do read.
He reads a lot.
I just don't recommend books a lot because this channel's mostly about movies.
All right, Connor asks, do you have a favorite author?
Yeah, it's probably Michael Chabon. And my favorite book is probably The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay.
It's so good. Go read it.
Yeah. Look at that. I've read books.
Reader knows how to read.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've read books.
I'm a pilot. Okay. Anyway, E. David says, how much of the you in the videos is you and how much is a character? I find this question hilarious.
That's actually a pretty good question, just because, you get to create this curated view of yourself on the internet.
That's true.
But I'm obviously the me that's in the Patrick Explains videos with our parents. That is more of a character. But I think in general, it's pretty much me.
Patrick's not an alcoholic, is what
I'm not an alcoholic. But I think it's pretty close to me. I just cut out the parts where I just talk more clearly in these videos, and but yeah, I think it's pretty close to me.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah, Mary would know better than anybody. If she says it, then it's true.
The Kraken experiment says pineapples on pizza?
No.
No, I like it. Okay. Strike Studio says if they continue Deadpool in the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
you got it
right this time, and they rebooted X-Men, would you want to keep the Colossus established in the first Deadpool?
I would say sure, because Colossus in that movie is basically just like a one-dimensional kind of cartoon character without a lot to him, but he also, they get the general aspects of Colossus, right? Like personality and look. So yeah, just keep him, because there isn't much there in the first place.
Aperture Editing says, what are your thoughts on The Last Jedi?
I saw it for the second time last night. I love it. I think it's the best Star Wars movie since The Empire Strikes Back. I think all you people who think it's like ruining Star Wars or whatever are on crack.
There you have it. All right, Mountain Dew guy says, my question is, will you really delete that Down with the Christmas song if enough people request that you keep it? By the way, I love that song.
All I'm gonna say is it's still up, and it's been more than a day.
Yeah.
Why have more people watched that than the actual Christmas video? I don't know.
YT says, what inspired you to start a YouTube channel?
Right when I graduated college many years ago, a friend of mine sent me what was then called the Freddie W channel, and then I was like, whoa, they're like filmmakers just making YouTube videos independently and like making careers out of it. That seems cool. I should try that, and then I decided to try it. And here we are.
Yeah. Suburban Gemini says, what are your thoughts on Trainspotting and the impact it had on cinema as a whole?
I think Trainspotting is great. I didn't see it until years after it came out because it came out when I was a child, and so I couldn't really tell you accurately about the impact it had on cinema as a whole. I don't know. Maybe it popularized drugs in movies? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I have no friends. Asked 3 questions. I have a feeling.
I thought there was the question was I have no friends. How do I get friends?
He chose his name to be I have no friends. He has 3 questions. I have a feeling you're only going to want to answer the last one.
Okay.
Question 1, who's your favorite director? Question 2, what's your favorite movie of all time? Question 3, what's your favorite holiday?
Okay, favorite director? Probably Steven Spielberg. He's the best. Favorite movie? Probably The Matrix. It's the one that I've seen the most. Favorite holiday? It's Christmas.
Oh, Max Mariner says, what do you guys bond over as siblings?
We bond over so many things.
Grew up in a rural location where there were not a lot of other kids.
Yeah, you know what we bond over?
What?
We bond over those promos that ran on Cartoon Network in the late 90s and early 2000s where they would dub over footage from Super Friends, especially this one where there's a meeting of the Legion of Doom, and Lex Luthor's giving a speech, and then Brainiac stands up to talk, and Brainiac wants pants, and there's this one part where he shouts, I just want a pair of pants, a decent pair of pants. And then Solomon Grundy chimes in.
Solomon Grundy want pants too.
And Mary and I find jokes are just things about pants really funny, like the classic Homer Simpson line, "Don't you hate pants?" So we bond over jokes about pants. We bond over a lot of things, like a lot of movies. We Roald Dahl books.
Yeah.
Miyazaki movies. Certain comic books that we were really into in like middle and high school. A lot. We get along very well.
Yes. Brian Bagnall says Blade Runner 2049 does not seem destined to become a classic. Is it overrated?
That movie came out 2 months ago. And you're...
Yeah, Brian. No one really liked Blade Runner when it first came out either.
Yeah, but the thing is, people love Blade Runner 2049. I think it's great. I think it is maybe the best, like, super late sequel ever. And, no, I don't think it's overrated. And it is way too early to say if it's going to become a classic. So, hold your horses.
Yeah, Brian. Jonathan Shute says, what is something you've read, fiction or nonfiction, that you would think would make the best movie, whether drama, comedy, or otherwise, and who would be the ideal team to make it?
Ooh, okay, if I don't know if you've read the nonfiction book Marvel Comics The Untold Story by Sean Howe, which is like the super deep, like extensively researched just history of Marvel Comics from like the 1940s through today, but the period of like the 60s in particular, when there was like Stan Lee was like editor-in-chief and like writing all the books, and like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and all the people were there. That could be a TV show. That could basically be the next Mad Men. All the characters are already there. I would love to see that done as like, an AMC original series. That would be really great. And plus, it's already got the Marvel brand, so you'll have a built-in audience. That would be really, really good.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you read that book?
No, you've told me so much.
You should borrow it from me.
I should.
It's great.
Yeah. This next hard-hitting question is from Jill Young Money. She says, what do you love about Mary? I love all of Mary, but especially her eyelashes and charisma. Also, please make a cooking show on your chocolate chip cookie recipe. That's not a question. Can you please make a cooking show on your chocolate chip cookie recipe? Maybe in character as a superhero to appeal to all the masses.
What do I love most about Mary? Physical. Wait.
No.
Her eyelashes and charisma.
Charisma, yeah.
I think Mary has great eyelashes, I guess. Yeah, and is very charismatic. I could be jokey or I could be really sincere here about what I love most about Mary. Jokey.
Yeah.
I think Mary has. I think she has a nice voice.
Oh,
Mary has a nice voice.
Okay.
And I like her upbeat personality.
Wow. Thanks.
And actually, I don't even know if I want to recommend this to people, but I did make a video about my cookie recipe back in like...
That's right. Wait, am I in that one?
In like 2012. No, you're
No,
not
I'm
in
in
that
the
one.
cake one.
Yeah, I
There's a
made
chocolate
like
cake
3
one, too.
cooking videos 5 years ago, so maybe deep dive for those. And I could do a new one because, look, guys, I'm really good at making chocolate chip cookies.
They're the best.
I'm like better at making chocolate
ever had.
chip cookies than I am at like making movies. So yeah, maybe I'll make a new one because I don't really want people to watch that old one. But anyway, we should move on.
Okay. No Name says, what video or short film that you've made are you most proud of?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with one from 2013 called The Hobbot. Which is a minute long, and I think is the perfect execution of a silly one-note joke, and it didn't quite get the attention that I felt it deserved. Yeah, I still love that one. So go dig through the archives and watch The Hobbot.
Dex Echo asks, what drives you to become a filmmaker? Why are movies so interesting to you?
What drives me to become a filmmaker is it's the only thing that I want to do, and it's all I want to do, and it's the only path and end goal that I see for myself. So there's no other option. It's just do that. And why are movies interesting? Because they're the greatest of all storytelling mediums and art forms.
Eric Vidal says, oh, this is a good question. If you could change one thing about YouTube to make it better for filmmakers, what would you change?
With YouTube being the way it is, I know things were different early on before I got on YouTube, but I think it's tough for creators who don't already have a giant audience to get attention and stand out. And so I think implementing something kind of like Vimeo's staff picks, which I know is tough because there's like a million things uploaded to YouTube like every second, but some sort of way that YouTube staff members could actually like help promote stuff that they think should get attention, that isn't getting the attention, that doesn't, people that don't already have like 1 million subscribers. I think that would be really beneficial and good.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Omri Arias says, what's the best animated movie of all time aside from Cars 2? Okay, you're wrong about Cars 2. Sorry if that's breaking your heart.
I haven't seen Cars 2, to be fair.
But there are so many.
I think that's a joke. Best animated movie, Spirited Away.
Probably.
Like gun to my head, I might say Spirited Away.
Yeah. Leech X says, favorite James Cameron action scene. Ooh, that's specific.
Ooh, maybe the sort of like the jet sequence or like the big action finale in True Lies.
Tugly says, how much time do you usually spend on a video?
A week or more, I'd say. Yeah, usually.
Your friend Alex Bishop asks, should Vine or some version of it come back? Hey, Alex.
Hey, Alex. I don't have strong feelings about this, but I'm gonna say no because I really enjoy not having to hear the term Vine star anymore.
Yeah, some people are like hardcore Vine defenders.
Yeah.
I appreciate them. I just never listened to it.
But Vine gave us Jake Paul.
Cameron Novak says, are you into video games? Also, what games do you think would make great movies?
I used to be like a kind of casual gamer. I haven't really played a video game in 4 years or so. One day there might be a good video game movie, and I feel like if it's ever gonna happen, Metal Gear Solid seems like probably the one that like lends itself the best to that, and actually already being cinematic and like having a pretty solid story. So I'm gonna say Metal Gear Solid is maybe the best bet.
Okay. Sam Ratner says, since you did an editorial on him last Christmas, favorite Shane Black movie?
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Mr. Joel Rock says, how do you feel about Justice League?
Justice League. It's bad and a total mess Frankenstein monster of a movie, but I sort of enjoyed myself, which is more than I can say for Man of Steel or Batman v Superman or Suicide Squad, and I think it awkwardly but semi-successfully reconfigures the DC movie universe into a place where they could make good movies that aren't just Wonder Woman now. So yeah, complicated feelings about that movie, but I don't hate it.
Rajan Aswati says, I really liked your How to Get Into Comics video. The comics I've read so far are Persepolis, Scott Snyder's Batman, Ultimate Spider-Man, and the current runs of Wonder Woman and Star Wars. Any more recommendations based on those?
Yes. Look up the creators who did those. Like Martin Satrapi, Scott Snyder, Brian Bendis, Greg Rucka, Jason Aaron, and then the artists, and just find more stuff by them because they've all produced a lot of really great stuff.
Geraldo Mussolini asks, what director or movie did you love at some point and now you hate?
When I was in high school, I was a big Kevin Smith fan, and I'm not really anymore.
Donkey Meat says, favorite Stanley Kubrick movie?
Probably 2001.
Douglas says, what are your favorite comics that you read this year?
So many. Mr. Miracle is a big obvious standout. Paper Girls has been really, really great. I finally got around to reading Craig Thompson's Habibi. Which I was really impressed by.
Didn't I give that to you?
Yes, you did.
I did.
And actually, I just, very, very late to this is not a new comic, I just read Selena's Big Score by Darwin Cook, his standalone graphic novel about Catwoman, and it is so good. And I really miss Darwin Cook.
Grant Pelago says, why do you think Get Out was categorized as a musical or comedy at the Golden Globes?
Because while Get Out is not overtly a comedy, it is a pretty funny movie, and the studio realized that they would be more likely to get nominations and awards if they went in the comedy category, which is a weird category anyway, than drama.
Cadobs asks, what are some books, videos about filmmaking that you recommend to people that don't have a lot of experience with VFX, lighting, microphones?
I dug this out. I haven't looked at it in a while. But when I was in high school and college and stuff, the filmmaker's handbook, which there are several new versions of, I think, with new covers. This was really handy in terms of covering literally everything for when you're beginning. And also, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube. But I think Rocket Jump Film School has been doing especially great work about all these types of things from editing to lighting to cinematography to directing to VFX stuff. So, and it's all free because it's on YouTube. So go watch their stuff.
Michael Wyatt says, if you could help Guillermo del Toro complete any of his several unproduced projects, which would you choose?
At the Mountains of Madness, no question.
Mem Mustafa said, how much money will it take for you to make Wes Anderson's X-Men? And also, slightly more serious question, what direction do you want John Watts to take for Spidey Homecoming 2? In what villain, who, and will play them?
Okay, I'm probably not going to make more Wes Anderson's X-Men. That was kind of a one-off video. John Watts Spider-Man, the next Spider-Man movie. I just wanted to keep doing the high school thing, stick around in high school for a while. I think that works out really great. And the villain I want to see the most in a Spider-Man movie is my favorite Spider-Man villain, Mysterio, who you can do so much with, and it's annoying that he hasn't been used yet. As for who should play him, I'm not sure.
All right, Mem Mustafa asks another question that I think is a good question.
Yes.
So he says, I'm directing a short film next year. It's my first time making a film. I've done some music videos before. Do you have any advice for dealing with problems on set? I've already had a cameraman quit on me. I have... And then he says, my cast is made up of my friends. Most of them are unprofessional, but I'm hoping that we can become professional. But yeah, problems on set.
I think it would be helpful to maybe do rehearsals or at least a table read with the cast before you start shooting, and just go in with a very, very clear idea of what you want. I'm talking storyboard, shot lists. If you've got, a camera operator or DP, go over the whole plan with them. So just basically know exactly what you need to get so you can run a very, very efficient set and know what you want from the actors, and just have very clear communication ahead of time and on set.
Film on the Run says, what director or directors influenced you the most?
Probably Edgar Wright, Steven Soderbergh, and Steven Spielberg.
William Osborne says, if a major studio gave you $200 million to make whatever movie you wanted, what would that movie be?
It would. I guess it could be an original movie. I'm not sure, but it would probably have car chases, and it would have a rockin' soundtrack. Maybe it would have sci-fi elements. Oh boy, I don't know. Pressure. Too big a question. I'm not sure. By the way, to all the people who asked me to rank my 5 favorite movies or 5 favorite directors, that's too tough right now. I like a lot of stuff. Sorry.
Katarine Banuelos says, for your essay videos, do you use literary theory or film theory? If it's literary theory, how do you apply it in film?
I use film theory because I was a cinema studies major in college, and that is what I was taught. But you know all about literary theory because you were an English major.
Postmodernism makes everything difficult. Everything is subjective, and you can't definitively state anything. And Aruda Ear says, do you like documentaries? Which ones are your favorite?
Yeah, I do like documentaries. I should probably watch more of them. Recently, I think this was like, because I watched it maybe at the beginning of this year, the 8-hour OJ Made in America is as great as everyone says, and is one of the best things I've seen in years.
Alec Plumley says, why do you think film is important?
What do I think? Film is important?
Large question.
Well, is that film as opposed to digital, or is it film as like the medium of film?
He does not specify.
I'm gonna say film, the medium. Film it's the ultimate art form. It combines all other art forms. Like
music, writing,
music,
acting, set design.
Exactly, visuals, visual storytelling. It combines everything. And also, what I love about film is that the author is in total control. Like with a book, the reader controls the pacing and stuff like that. In cinema, the audience is at the mercy of the director and the filmmaker who basically has control over what they see and in what order. And I like that.
Jade123 says, how have your holidays been?
They've been great. And like any Christmas, there have been like little bits of like stress here and there, but overall, I've been having a great time. How about you, Mary?
Yeah, we had a very snowy Christmas.
We woke
super
up.
Fun.
We woke up on Christmas Day and it was snowing outside. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Snow.
It's been a good time.
Woo. Digital Drew 92. That rhymes. If you could give your younger self some advice, what would it be?
Start making YouTube videos earlier.
Kushagra Singh asks, what's your favorite Wes Anderson film?
Rushmore.
Ovidio Olivo asks, how do you stay focused and keep the momentum going while writing a script? Good question.
Set deadlines and time constraints and try to do the writing in quick bursts rather than sitting down for hours and hours and hours and, trying to force it out. Mm-hmm. So like walk around, then like write furiously for like 20 minutes and then get up.
And you usually try and like finish a first draft before really going back and editing it heavily.
Right, exactly. Just like, just write furiously and edit it later.
Candle Movies asks, what's your process for coming up with ideas for your videos?
Scrolling through Twitter and seeing what ideas pop into my head.
Ben Odgren says, I just got a Marvel Unlimited subscription. What are one or a few story arcs that I should read at this moment?
Read John Byrne's Fantastic Four run. You can look up on like Wikipedia what issue that starts with. Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna say read Jason Aaron's Wolverine and the X-Men. It's like a 40-issue series and it's really delightful.
Salamadou asks, what's your proudest gift-giving moment? Of all the presents you've ever given on any occasion, which was the best one, and how is it received, Patrick?
Okay, these both involve Mary, because I'm my greatest... After baking cookies, my greatest skill is getting gifts from Mary. Yeah. So there's two. The first one was, at one point, our family was like at Pier 1 and looking for some furniture, and they had a papasan chair, those big kind of circular chairs, and Mary really was like, oh, I want one of those.
Said I always wanted one.
I've always wanted one. Yeah. And then I thought, and then cut to like 6 months later, on Christmas Day, I gave her a papasan chair, which I don't think you saw coming.
No.
And that was great. And it's in your apartment now.
Yeah, it's the best reading chair. You can just like curl up.
Yeah, but then this year, and this is in a video, so we both love the comic Saga. Mm-hmm. It's great. And everyone's favorite character in that, of course, is Goose.
So cute.
And for years, Mary's been saying, why don't they make a plush Goose? That would be
because he is the cutest character.
It does seem like such an obvious bit of merchandise to make, but they've been so selective with the Saga merchandise they're making, it's like, who knows if it'll ever happen. Anyway, I'm at Comic-Con this summer, and I walk by the Image booth, and suddenly there is a plush Goose with all his outfits that he has in the comic, and he's perfect. And so I immediately bought one. Also, it was only available there. They had a very limited run. They sold out in like 2 days. And then then I got home from Comic-Con and I met up with Mary and I was like, I have to give you a gift. And I gave her the plush goose and I filmed it. It is in a video. I think it was called Comic-Con Was Pretty Crazy. And you can watch Mary cry as I give her the plush goose. So that's gonna be, I told her right there, like, I'll probably never top this. Like, I might not ever give you a gift this good again. So there you go.
I'm okay with that.
My best gift-giving moments.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotions. I just love Goose so much. Kator Hall Pre-Med says, do you have a favorite Coen Brothers movie?
Coen Brothers movie?
Yeah.
It might be The Hudsucker Proxy, which is a controversial choice, but I love it. You know, for kids.
Ian Paul asks, have you heard of the channel Strucci Movies? I think she's one of the best and most underrated video essayists.
I have not heard of it, but I will look it up now, so thank you.
Ryan Farco says, I've been watching your channel for a year or two now, and I love it.
Thanks.
My question is, now that Disney has bought 21st and 20th Century Fox, and Marvel has now got the movie rights to Deadpool, X-Men, Fantastic Four, how would you introduce Deadpool, X-Men, and Fantastic Four into the Marvel Cinematic Universe? We kind of already talked about this.
Okay, a lot of people asked this question, didn't they?
Yeah.
So the super condensed version is, since Deadpool is super loose with continuity anyway, just keep Deadpool as it is, and then but reboot, just do a hard reboot of the rest of the X-Men around it. And just like start from scratch, scrap all the Bryan Singer stuff, and Fantastic Four. I covered that in an earlier question. They've been stuck in the negative zone for decades. Come back out, so they already existed. Yeah, do that.
Ooh, now we're on to Twitter questions.
Twitter questions.
From the Twitter. Waluigi's personal assistant asks, favorite Star Wars movie?
Favorite Star Wars movie?
You kind of already answered.
Yeah, kind of goes back and forth between A New Hope and Empire.
But then he asks, favorite comic book story arc?
Oh my god. I want to like do miniseries count. Maybe All-Star Superman.
Jack Street asks, favorite Die Hard movie?
The first.
The first one.
Who would say anything else?
Jamie Fuentes asked, if you could get any creative team to do a run of any character or team, what would your dream creators or character be?
Oh my god.
It's a lot of options.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
it would be well, I'd like someone who's never done certain things. Grant Morrison wasn't at Marvel for very long, and I would love to see him actually do a Fantastic Four run. He just wrote one Fantastic Four miniseries.
Yeah.
I love Jonathan Hickman's Avengers run. It would be cool to see him do Justice League. Actually, Jonathan Hickman on Superman. Hickman on Superman, I think, would be really, really great. Maybe him and Olivier Coipel drawing it. I think that would be really cool. Oh my god, this is a rabbit hole I could just spend hours in. So let's go with that, and let's have Frank Whiteley draw Morrison's Fantastic Four, even though that means we'll get 6, maybe 4 issues a year.
That'd be so cool. Vincent Isan Ziri, or Mr. Viz, asks, what's your favorite aspect of filmmaking? Like editing, cinematography? I like this question.
I like, even though it's the most stressful, I think I like being on set and doing the production part. There's the most excitement there, while editing is often like miserable for
lonely.
a really well. It's lonely, but it's also like with editing, you know, you keep thinking, oh, this isn't working, this sucks for like days, and then finally it's like, oh wait, no, and now it all kind of clicks into place. So I think actually being on set production.
Michael K.Y. Travis asks, what are your opinions on musical films, and have you ever thought of covering a musical subject on your channel?
I like musicals. My favorite musical is probably West Side Story, I think. And I should talk more about musicals.
Yeah.
And
talking about like structured films.
Yeah, there's a lot of classic musicals that I haven't watched that I should. I've never seen like On the Town.
Oh, I haven't seen that either. I thought you were gonna say Sound of Music. I was gonna hit you.
No, we said a million times growing up. But yes, actually that's a great question. I should talk more about musicals.
Luke Hardy says, Dear Patrick, I inquire this. Last year you said that you would make a video explaining how you would make a Batman Beyond film. Do you still plan on making that video?
Possibly, yeah. That. Thank you for remembering that. It's one of those things where I wonder if it's weird to be like, hey, here's my dream pitch for a movie that I'll probably never get to make, and it's like I don't know if that's like a stupid endeavor or not, and because I also try not to, spend too much time fantasizing about like directing adaptations that probably aren't going to happen. But yeah, I feel like I have a pretty concise pitch for that movie. I'm still not sure if I should make a video about it or not. I don't know. So sorry I don't have a more concrete answer. Maybe.
Dear Patrick, what is your favorite Frank Miller Batman comic?
Year One.
That was from Ethan Krieger. Hey, Patrick. How do you feel about Disney's acquisition of the Fox movie studio?
I think it's bad. Look, guys, this matters so much more than superhero movies because this means that a major studio has been swallowed by another. It's not a monopoly yet, but it's a big step toward a monopoly, and monopolies aren't good. And it also means there is less competition now in the film industry. It just means fewer outlets producing movies, fewer places where things can get made, fewer places that filmmakers can take ideas. But skip ahead like 20 years, and like, what if there's only one studio controlling everything? That they're the only one that decides what movies get made. That's bad. It's bad for filmmakers, it's bad for the audiences, it's bad for just the movie industry in general. So I don't like this Fox Disney thing. It worries me.
Arnav asks, what do you think about Wes Anderson's direction and style?
I think they're great. I really like Wes Anderson. I love that he's managed to keep doing his very specific thing without really having to compromise or tone it down for all these years. And I think he's great. Just Wes, keep on doing what you're doing.
Nathan Fat asked, among any filmmaker, who would you aspire to be like?
Soderbergh.
96 FPS from Mars. How are the cookies you guys ate after the first Q&A? Also, what are your favorite cookies?
The ones from a year ago, I think they were in that tin. They were pretty solid, but I'm not gonna lie. I think my favorite cookies might be mine. The chocolate chip cookies that I make. I worked really hard to create
It took like 5 years.
my ideal kind of cookie, and I got it.
If you haven't realized yet, Patrick's a perfectionist. Orpheus asks, thoughts on the whole film versus digital debate?
I think film looks better. I like film. I want it to be used more and more and more. I like digital best when it doesn't try to ape film and tries to do its own distinct look. That's I've only ever used digital. I haven't had the chance to use film. I would love to shoot on film. I like the idea of them both being options. Digital replacing film is sad to me.
Sad. Armando Carrillo asks, hey Patrick, I wonder how you feel about people reacting to Marvel Studios movies being so dull and predictable despite a large audience still praising them.
So you don't like them, and how do I feel about you not liking them? That's fine.
It's your opinion.
I don't care.
eMeister75 asks, if you could combine 2 movies into one new movie, which would they be? That is a funny question.
I think that the Home Alone franchise should have continued to the point where it would cross over with other franchises. So like Kevin gets left alone at Jurassic Park. Kevin gets like left alone, and then like the Predator comes to town and he has to fight him off with traps. I think that's how the Home Alone franchise should have evolved. I think they should have made like 10 of those movies. Yeah. So yes, that's my opinion.
Biggie Cheese asks, do you think you could do more TV analysis on shows like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Breaking Bad? He's got a lot of suggestions.
Yes, I could definitely do that. Often I'm analyzing like the craft and the filmmaking craft, and while TV has become way more cinematic, there's usually like more to talk about just in terms of like feature films than on TV. And but yeah, I'm not opposed to it. And I like a lot of TV, but also TV, there's like a million episodes of shows, and it's easier to talk about movies where it's just like one singular thing, not like 2 hours, not like 30 hours.
Yes. Yeah. Kartik Gian asks, who are your favorite critics?
My favorite critics. I like a lot of film critics.
Yes.
Even though he is sadly deceased, Roger Ebert's still the best. And in terms of current ones that I read regularly, Matt Zoller Seitz, Drew McWeeny, David Ehrlich, David Sims, Amy Nicholson is really good. Alison Willmore. Oh man, who else do I like? Well, Film Critic Hulk is more of a film. He doesn't like regularly like review movies.
Okay.
But I do like him. My buddy Sid Alaka is really great. There's so many that I like. Matt Singer. I like a lot of critics. I know I'm blanking on a bunch right now, but I think film criticism is great. I think I don't watch any YouTube film critics. I think that they're just like writing in print and online. Bill Gabiri is really good. Yeah, I like a lot of film critics.
Leslie Nope asks, I recently started rewatching the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, and they hold up exceptionally well as standalone features. Why do you think that is?
I think because they generally subscribe to the comic book storytelling approach, which is telling their own stories, but that do connect into a larger thing, but focusing on like having the individual stories, you know, the self-contained stories being good and working well as standalone things. They just basically mimicked comic book storytelling, but putting it into feature films, and it's worked out.
Hi, Willems. You know how you elaborated on geography for Quantum of Solace? Horror undertones for Jurassic Park? Where do you get all these ideas? Did you learn this from Oberlin College?
I learned stuff about analyzing and discussing movies in the Oberlin College Cinema Studies department. But in terms of these ideas, I just think about movies a lot, and I watch a lot of stuff, and I read about stuff, and you know, these ideas just kind of form. That's basically it.
You're always thinking about movies.
I'm always thinking about movies. And I think that's all of them. I think we got all the questions. That was so many questions.
Yeah.
This video is gonna be really long.
Yeah.
There were a lot of like duplicate questions. A lot of people asking like what I thought of The Last Jedi or what my favorite movie is and stuff like that. So if we did not read your specific version of that question, I apologize. The important thing for us was just covering the questions and getting you guys the answers that you demanded. So that's what we tried to do.
Yeah, and you guys followed through. Thanks for asking good questions.
And if your question was ignored entirely, blame Mary, because she selected which ones were asked.
I'm choosy.
Mary is very choosy about questions. Exactly. She is like the question master.
Aha.
Okay, on that note, I hope everyone has had a lovely Christmas. And guys, it's only is it third day of Christmas?
Fourth?
Fourth.
Doesn't it start on the 24th?
I'm not sure, but look, guys, 12 days of Christmas are happening, and Christmas is still going. So keep your trees up, enjoy your presents, eat those leftovers that we've been enjoying so much. And thanks for asking all the questions. Thanks for watching these videos. I really appreciate it. It's been a bad year for the world, but a good year for this YouTube channel. And next year is going to be even better. So I'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.